first started to think about jiu-jitsu three-dimensionally. So we're going to dig a lot into this concept. The armbar is a basic enough submission that most everybody understands how an armbar works conceptually. So it's easy to start talking a little bit deeper level, and then we can take that 3D idea and expand it into other techniques and other positions and other applications. So let's start with the basic armbar from guard. I know most people watching this will probably know the basic armbar from guard, so I'm taking this as an opportunity to look at some of the more intricate details that you might miss in your first maybe 2 years of class or so. So my basic armbar from guard, this is going to help us explain the 3D concept as well. My basic armbar from guard, let's actually spin this way, Daryl. All right. So I'm here. My closed guard, everything's pretty simple, everything's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to do a really simple setup. I mean, there's 100 different ways to get Daryl's arm in the position I need it to. We're just going to start with our basic, just kind of cross-grabbing and checking the face here. So let's talk about why these motions work and why they're important. So whenever I'm cross-grabbing Daryl's elbow, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep it in the position that I need. So if you imagine that there's like two softballs attached to my hips, if Daryl's elbow is in that softball, he's pretty safe. Like these little two circles right here. As soon as his elbow starts flaring out, he's in trouble. And as soon as that elbow starts coming inside, he's in trouble. So for the arm bar, I'm looking to get that elbow, imagine it's like a plane on my hip here. If his elbow is inside that plane, I can get this arm bar. So we're going to come back to that a lot, so keep that in mind. So when I cross grab, I'm grabbing right behind the tricep, that little nub of the elbow, just right above it, gripping right there. And then the other hand's coming across, keeping that elbow in place. The other hand's coming across, and I'm checking his face here. I'm not grabbing his neck and controlling his neck. My hand's kind of more at the base of his skull, so my forearm's on his chin like a cross face. So that way, when I start going for this arm bar, I have like a stiff arm. So when Daryl tries to drive in, I can keep his head from coming into me, because that's what he's going to try to crowd me to keep this arm bar from happening. He's going to try to drive his head into here to keep me from creating an angle. So that's why I do this basic like X in my arms to start making this arm bar work. So I get the elbow, I get the head. Now I'm going to put a foot on the hip. Now this is another important concept that's going to come up again when we look at more arm bar stuff, is why I'm putting this foot in the hip here. The important detail is I don't want this leg flared out. As soon as there's space here, Daryl can kind of do like a lawnmower motion. He's kind of rip out like you're starting a lawnmower. Yeah, boom, he's gone. He's going to be out of the arm bar real quick. So whenever I come in here, it's important that I get this in, and boom, I pinch this nice and tight. Again, this is going to sound really basic for most people watching this video. We're going to come back to this concept a lot. So I'm closing the space off, keeping this gap shut, and it keeps his elbow where I need it. So I got my hand on it. I'm using my leg to keep that shoulder pinch, to keep that elbow in position, keep that elbow from floating back outside. So I'm on the face here. So now I got this arm pretty locked up to where I need to go. So I need to start moving my hips to create an angle. So right now, I'm parallel with Daryl. Our spines are in the same line. So I want to get my head over here like a 90-degree angle here. So just go here and cut the angle and make the arm bar work. So here, to cut this angle, I'm going to take this leg nice and high and use it to dig into his armpit and use that to swivel. I'm going to go here, cut this angle. I'm kind of almost trying to kick him in the back. I mean, I wouldn't really kick Daryl in the back of the head, but I'm trying to get here and clamp this heel down nice and tight. Now the trick is though, when I do this, I'm swiveling as I move that leg, and I'm actually elevating my hips. This is a huge detail. It was a big deal for me when I learned this. Most people, when they first learn the arm bar, it's very much just they're just spinning. I'm just going, set my leg, and I'm starting to crank on this arm. But actually, every time I move a leg, I'm thinking about elevating my hips at the same time. So I'm trying to choke my hips up high on this arm. That's another concept we'll come back to a lot in later techniques. So whenever I move here, I got this foot in the hip. I'm going to lift my hips up a little bit. It takes friction away, makes it easy for me to swivel. Elevate and twist. Boom, clamping it down. Or I'm kind of curling my toes, digging my heel down nice and tight, trying to take a bite with my leg here. I'm still checking his head to keep his head from driving in. If this hand's on here, it's very easy for Daryl to start crowding me. Drive in, Daryl. Yeah, now it's hard to get my arm bar. So I keep this here, keep him pushed away. So now again, I elevate my hips when I move my second leg. So I'm digging down into him with this leg in the top, elevate, and catch, and then I clamp it back in. So I'm going nice and high, digging deep, and curling this back in to get nice and tight on this arm. If I don't, my hip starts slipping low on this tricep here, and it makes it easier for that elbow to escape. Yeah, you can start slipping it out here and start getting loose. So when I make that transition, elevate, get my hips nice and high on that arm, digging nice and deep, clamping in, boom, sucking it in. Now it's your classic finish. I'm getting that thumb sticking straight out of my chest, Right up, pinky in my sternum, hug it, grip it, doesn't matter. Head on the mat for a nice strong bridge and go and get that finish. Okay, so that's our basic armbar. And like I said, those details, how we learn that armbar from guard is going to impact how we do our armbar from anywhere. We're looking at the core ingredients of what makes an armbar and what makes it really work. We're going to come back to that a lot later techniques.